Hey everyone, it's Randy from randypierce.com. And since everyone has three names, I'm just going to name myself today Randy Sue Pierce. I'm here with Natalie Marie Collins and Kelly Sullivan Ruta. Oh my gosh, we're so excited. We were just jamming before I hit the record button, and Kelly is super excited to participate in this case study. I'm going to let you, Kelly, talk about what you were just sharing with us before we hit the record button, because I think it's super important. I know I felt that too as a manifesting generator. Yes. Natalie is blessed with being a projector, so she doesn't understand what we're talking about, but she gets it and knows how to support us, which is great.
That's the fortunate part, is she gets it. She doesn't have to live it every day, but she totally gets it, and she knows how to help us, I think, do better. So what I was saying before we hit the live button was, hello, everybody, by the way, I'm Kelly. Nice to be with you. I am a manifesting generator. I have known this for about 2 years, and I've only known the very basics of it. So just sort of the intellectual level stuff of what does it mean to be a manifesting generator. And I was telling the ladies that, I have pulled up on my screen, you can't see right now, but I have my chart pulled up. And then I took a screenshot of the explanation. You get sort of your type, your strategy, your not self, your, authority, all that stuff. And I literally laughed out loud when I saw that my not self theme was frustration. Because if you asked me at any point in my life, from being a teenager to now being, almost 48 years old, what my biggest emotional struggle in life is, it is frustration. I bump up against frustration, and persistent frustration causes me other problems. So I can be frustrated like anybody. Anybody can be uncomfortable for a short period of time. And as human beings, we can handle that short-term tough stuff, right? But persistently feeling an uncomfortable feeling that you're not really sure how to navigate out of causes all kinds of other things. And so I'm so excited to be here because I want to learn a lot more about this. And I'm also really interested in some of these other words that came up. And about my chart in general, and also just about being a manifesting generator, because I think too many of us, I joke all the time, I wish I was just a manifester. But really, the truth is, I think most of us say, oh, I just want to be something I'm not. And what I really want to learn how to do is be more at ease with who I actually am and how I'm wired, so that I can operate at my greatest potential. So I'm super excited to learn from you guys today.
Oh my gosh, we're so excited that you're here. And everyone joining us, let me just pop in here and let you know, if you want to participate as a case study, Natalie and I are going to be doing a limited amount of these case study interviews. If you want to be considered, go ahead and pop your name in the opt-in below, and we will be in contact with you if you're a good fit. Natalie, I would love for you to just go ahead and jump in and talk about, I'm actually going to pull up Kelly's chart in just a second, and I'll share it on the screen when I've got it so that people can see it. And also, if you want to look for Kelly's chart, I'll go ahead and pop an image down below this video so that you can see what we're talking about here. But Natalie, I'd love for you to go ahead and hop in here and give us the lowdown and help Kelly with this frustration.
I'm ready for the down and dirty, girlfriend. Lay it on me.
Let's go.
Let's get that up on the screen, because I want people to be able to see what Kelly's human design chart looks like, because every single human design chart is different, which makes it so fun to be able to see how everyone's uniquely designed. But then there are some similar themes. So the manifesting generator, you have the same strategy, and your authority will be either emotional or sacral. But the cool thing is that as a manifesting generator, you still get to respond from that sacral center. So you're here to respond or and in your case, Kelly, you can make those quicker decisions with yes and no, but also you have, you don't have emotional authority. So you just get to be in the moment of, this feels good in my gut.
Yep.
Let's do that. That's yummy. Go do that.
Yes.
And like, no questions about it. There's no thinking about it. There's no processing through emotions about it. You can just go and do it. And the cool thing is, when we get that chart pulled up, there is the most powerful channel in the human design chart, connects the sacral center to the throat center. This is only a manifesting generator channel.
Mm-hmm.
And this channel, when you've responded to your outer reality of, that's what needs to happen, it's really important for you to be careful with this and speak it out into existence. And that creates the manifesting part of your strategy, because you get to then inform people, hey, this is a yes, this is what I'm doing. I'm pushing this energy forward. And so then the manifestor energy comes through. So when you're pushing the manifestor energy, you're pushing that energy out through the throat, and you can make things happen really quickly when you speak it into existence. So that's a really key thing for you to know, that it's really important for you to like have those affirmations, have those things that like, this is what's happening. And that's when magic starts to really happen. When you're in response mode, that can be where things may get a little frustrating or hung up, because it's important for you to actually wait to respond. So you may have an idea of something that you want to do, but then you need to wait for the universe to kind of bring those signs to you that it's like, this is what I want. Is it time to take action on it? So it's this dance that happens, and like maybe a couple times things pop up the same way. It could be the same day. Mm-hmm. Sometimes it's the same hour. I've seen it happen really quickly once you're really super clear. And it can be, you speak it out like, hey, I want this to happen, and I'm waiting for my time for it to come. But when it's time to come, watch out, because I'm going to bulldoze you over, and it's going to happen.
I just want to validate and confirm and affirm what you're saying. So one of the big things that I think I've sort of dragged my feet on, that I've known for a very long time, and it's probably a reason I am frustrated, is because I'm getting clearer and clearer about the fact that one of the reasons I am here is to speak often, to speak to many. And I've held back on it because I was operating in a zone of excellence instead of genius for a long, long, long time, which is even stuff I teach, right? So just the other day, I'm having this conversation, and I say out loud what's been in my head forever, what people have been telling me for years, which is, you must be on stages all the time. And I said out loud, that's it. I've had that. That's it. I am doing this. I am moving forward. I'm getting on big stages. I'm applying. Do you know, within 48 hours, I got a keynote, and I got 2 other offers, and then I got picked for an award that's going to publish me.
Hang on, guys. If
I
you can.
need to get out of here and into speaking this out more. And I think I would love to hear, I don't know if you're going to get to this, but I would love to hear more about this throat area, because I've had more than one person who knows far more about human design than I, about this connection between the sacral and the throat and how powerful that can be. I don't really understand that, but I've been told multiple times that's a very powerful thing that is not across the board, that not everybody experiences.
Right. So I went through the other day, Kelly, and I just went through every channel and every gate. And I have 2 pages of notes, and over and over and over again, leadership, being the leader. You have the channel of the alpha. It's all about creating resources for the community, building and growing and leading the community with integrity and empowerment, and prosperity, and really getting into
all the tingles while you're saying it. That's my universal sign, by the way. It's one of my 3 signs that I get is the tingles or the goosebumps in just random spots on my body. So yes, everything you're saying is resonating.
Yeah. So you were talking about getting up on stage and doing this, like, you have so much energy going to your throat through that 3420 and the 5720 and the 4816, which the 4816 is the channel of talent, and it's a subconscious thing for you, and it needs to actually be invited out. So it's more of a projected channel. So it's being invited out, like it's totally being invited out for you right now in this, because you are clear. People have been inviting you for years to get up on stage, because like literally we need you to get up on stage, because you have the entire leadership quality to you that is powerful movement, strong energy. And you have that gate 57 that's connected to your throat. That is what I call the internal bullshit detector.
Oh, girl.
Yes.
It's the alarms. They go off. I'm surprised other people don't hear them when they're going off in my head. They're so loud.
Yeah. And it's connected directly to your throat. So it'll probably be like this subconscious thing where all of a sudden it's just spewing out, where you're like, no, listen, honey, you got to just get over that. And this is what you need to do. Because you have that intuition that's connected directly to the splenic center, which is a huge gift for you to be able to speak out and share. And so all of the stuff that I was digging up for you, that's all about, also authenticity and being in that authentic power, and not doing things from the bullshit, and coming from the truth, and building the community with the authentic foundation that needs to happen. There's also, it's grounded by the cooperation with the abundance of spirit, which is a very spiritual channel that comes out of the emotional center. So there's this abundance, and it's abundance of the good things and the bad things, and comes together in this yin yang form. But it's this abundance that no matter where you're at, you get to come from this place of really empowered love, and that there's an abundance in whatever it is that you want to create and have and do and be. And
that's really good to know, because honestly, I think as spiritual as I aspire to be in terms of being self-aware and connected, I think part of the human condition that we all have to learn how to navigate is that somewhere along the line, we've been taught that we are disconnected, whether you view that through a religious sense or a spiritual sense, or even a scientific sense, depending, on your vantage point. That has been something that's been continuously challenging for me, to return to the truth that disconnection's an illusion. So that's a really powerful reminder. I appreciate that very much.
You're welcome. And it is about building big communities. You're here to lead big communities through the authentic power. And it's also listening deeply to the community. And it can be listening beyond what they're saying. It's listening to, on a vibrational level, what's being said. And that's a really great connection piece for you that you have the ability to do. And it's about building a better framework for people and getting it into for the greater good of the whole, and not necessarily because that framework sounds good, we all need a framework. No, this is the framework that needs to happen for the greater good. And so it's funny, you recently are launching a program about authenticity in the coaching industry. And I saw that and I was like, oh, hell yes.
And that, my friend, came out of seemingly nowhere. I had no intention of ever putting together a program to coach coaches. It just sort of slapped me in the face one day that the online coaching industry has gone off the rails a bit. And when that makes me physically not feel well when I think about it. And I realized the mistake I was making was I was I have no problem ever verbally calling out a problem as I see it, but I wasn't being part of the solution. And that was a disconnect. And I felt like, oh, I need to be part of this solution. But that had never occurred to me before. I don't even know where that came. Well, we know where it came from, but that didn't come from me. That came kind of through me. And so, yeah, that was my first sort of foray into something like that.
Perfect. Yes. There's also one of the cool things about human design is the planets, and you'll see those on the sides, those boxes on the sides.
Yeah.
So the first one, or the top one, is the sun. That's how things are expressed through you. Everything gets filtered through the sun channel, or the sun channels, because you have one that's conscious and one that's subconscious. One of the really cool aspects of this is Mercury. And Mercury is what we're here to communicate about. And one of those things that you're here to communicate about is persistence and adaptability. So you're here to be really persistent in mastery of what it is that you're doing, and that persistence in that mastery. So again, when you came out with that, your newest thing that you're doing, I was like, oh yes.
And a little known secret, I started writing a book this year. I have no idea how long the gestation period for this is going to be far longer than gestating a human being. I can tell you that much, but it really is about how it's my contribution to humanity's evolution in being resilient and persistent based on building bravery rather than this false idea of having to be fearless. And so it's an entire book about how you do that. So that's why I'm laughing listening to what you're saying, because this is exactly what's in my chatter in my head all the time.
Good. There's a couple other gates that I'll run through for you real quick so you can get this greater understanding for you.
I appreciate that.
Yeah. So your sun gate, the gate 14, the one that you're conscious about, is all about prosperity. And it's the energy to make money and create resources for your community. And it comes from that integrity place. It comes from that grounded foundation that you bring, and people actually expect from you because they need it from you. Like, you know that your community needs it. Not only your family, but your community needs this from you. There's also, on the flip side, the subconscious part is a seduction, which is, and seduction can be a sexual thing, but it's really about the seduction of language and being able to emit ideas and desires through this, and being able to bring people in, and the right people in at the right time, so that it helps to spread the dreams, and it radiates your intention throughout through that gate. So that's part of your expression that comes out. And then the earth gates, which are the second one down, that circle with the cross in the middle, that is where everything gets grounded. And what gets grounded for you is being grounded in the authentic self, making a difference or creating a change.
Yes.
That's the grounded energy. And then,
and then
good. And then also,
embrace it. Everybody says to me, no, I don't want things to change. And I'm like, oh my God, can we? Yes, right now. The joke is always, how long is a room in my house going to stay looking the way it is? Not very long. I am redoing every room all the time. I've gone through my house. I can't even tell you how many times, because I love change. It just feels good to me.
Good. And then that subconscious is that gate 55 I was telling you about. It's the being grounded in the cooperation with the abundance of spirit.
Okay.
So those are the grounded roots that you get to express out. And then, let's see. Yeah. And then that Mercury is all about persistence and adaptability. Okay. So I know we were wanting to keep this really short, so I'll run through the open centers really quickly, because I think this will be a little bit of a key thing for you. Open centers it doesn't mean that you don't have this energy. It just means that it's not consistent in your chart.
Okay.
And it's also where you're here to be wise about. You're here to be wise about how inspiration comes in, how thoughts and ideas are expressed out and thought through. And so these frameworks and stuff that you're here to help build and create, is not something that you're going to like think through. It's putting these pieces together and seeing how it comes to you and getting those goosebumps and really being able to resonate with, oh, this is actually the framework that needs to happen. It's not something that I conceptualize all the way through.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, it's that abundance in spirit that spirit will bring all of these things to you. It's also the willpower center, which is the little triangle in the center, is open. So that means that you don't have consistent willpower energy, which is totally fine, which means you have nothing to prove to anybody. Period, at the end. Like, let it go. So if you feel yourself getting competitive, know that probably somebody else around you has that willpower center defined, and that can really amplify it out and be like, oh, wait a second. No. This isn't
okay.
Kelly's from Jersey, so she will be nice until she is not nice, and then the dudes come out.
Yeah.
That is so true. I'll be nice until I no longer feel the need to be nice. And honestly, my not nice is just, it's not that it's not nice. It's just direct. That's all it is. I feel like I say this to people all the time. I speak the truth no matter what. I just, as I've aged, I've learned to do so with more grace and less abrupt and abrasiveness. So yeah.
Good. Also, the emotional center, that little white triangle on the right, is open, which means it doesn't mean that you don't have emotions, but if you are in, say, an emotional chaos or fit, or you just don't know what your emotions are happening right now, know that there are probably somebody else's around you. Maybe one of your kids are experiencing something, or and you're kind of tapping into what emotions are happening around you, and you can let that go.
Yes. So my emotions have always been very, very big, very, very overpowering. And I'm an empath. So I pick up on everybody else's stuff all the time. Sometimes I'm good at discerning that that's not mine at all. And other times I'm not, because it comes up like a tsunami. And then all of a sudden I'm like, whoa, what just happened? And I need to just, get my feet firmly planted on the ground. I think the mistake I make, and maybe you can speak to this just super quick, is that I try to recenter by going here. And I think that that's the wrong way to do it. So I think I default to analysis and intellect when that's not where the answer is going to come from. At least I think that's sort of what I'm hearing you say about my defined centers. Is that correct?
Right. Yes. And here's the little kicker. The mind is a magnificent tool for us to have. Phenomenal. But it's here to actually take directions. And it's here to take directions from that. When you get your yes, your and you speak it out, and you're hearing yourself speak this out because this is your truth. And it's going to, part of that channel is you can be a little bit of a word slinger in a sense.
Yeah.
Just start slinging this stuff out.
Yeah.
And it has nothing to do with anything that you thought through. You're not thinking through the stuff. This is what needs to come out in the moment. And so what's coming out, like, oh, this is what I'm creating. This is what I'm doing now. And listening to that, oh, yes, this is correct for me. This is happening. You can actually hear that come out of your throat center, where you don't have to think about it. And your brain can say, oh, that's what we're doing. And then go help you do the thing. And be on the lookout for stuff. And actually, the mind can also be entertained by all the things that the universe is bringing to you in the moments, and having fun with that. So if you're too much of trying to think through the answer, know that get back into the body, ground yourself back into the body, whether you got to do earthing, different things that help you ground to not be stuck up in the headspace. Because that it can be a very entertaining movie for you to watch.
Well, I think that's the key, right? Is to shift it from frustrating to entertaining. And I think the fact that I have relied so heavily on my ability to be analytical and to use my intellect, I've over relied on those things, when I know I am very clear that my intuition is far powerful than anything that goes on in my head. Quick question for you.
Sure.
I saw the word heretic. Can you explain that to me? Because that word gets me a little bit excited.
So you have
that.
Yeah, so you have the 5-1 profile. It's not shown up on the screen, but it is in the other information on the other screenshot. And the 5-1 profile is the heretic investigator. And the heretic is can be, in a sense, the one who shows up as the savior for everyone, like the godsend person. They're going to solve all of their problems, when in reality, they're human and may not be able to solve all the problems. So then you get to be discerning about what can you really solve for people. Is this a problem that you can solve for them, or is that not your problem to solve? Even if they think that you're the person that can solve it for you.
Okay.
So you get to be discerning with that. So just being aware and paying attention that you may show up in this bright, shining light to people as the answer to all of their problems, when you may just be the answer to one of them or none of them.
Yes.
And then
that happens often. That has always happened, where people will show up and just kind of collapse and go, fix me. I'm like, oh no, that's not
how it works.
That's not what I'm here to do. No. You know? So yeah, that's spot on in terms of my experience as well.
Good. And then also that one part is the investigator. So the other side of that is more of a subconscious thing for you that comes in and wants to dive deep into every aspect of what it is that you're doing. You get that big yes, and you want to have all of the information.
Yeah. Yeah. So but it's only about the small handful of things that make my heart sing or make me feel like my belly's on fire. Everything else, I'm kind of like, I don't care, whatever.
Right. Is it worth your energy to dive deep with that or not?
Right.
And if it's not this internal gut yes that's coming from inside of you, you don't have the energy for it.
I don't.
Let it go. Yeah.
Oh my God, I don't. And there are so few things. It's it is a small handful of things, but when I am with those things, I want to go all the way to the core. So yeah, that makes so much sense to me.
Good. All right. So I know you wanted to talk a little bit more about the throat center. You have all kinds of energy going to the throat center. So if you think of the throat center as everything in the head and the ajna coming down to the throat and everything below coming up to the throat. It's always wanting to push out through the throat. And you have all of your centers are connecting in some way to that throat center.
Okay.
All of your defined centers. So there's the gut response is coming up and around directly to the throat. And it's coming up through the G center. The G center is all about your internal guidance and direction and love. So it's how we express our love.
That's the yellow.
That's the yellow.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
Yep. So you have an internal compass guidance system that you have consistent access energy to, and it has direct access to your throat center. So you will speak that out as well, of knowing like, yeah, that's correct direction for me, or no, that's not part of my direction.
Right.
And being able to play and experiment with that. And it expresses itself out through the different channels. I know we don't really have time to go through all of the different channels, but that 31-7 that comes from the G center directly to your heart is the channel of the alpha. So that is where you are here to be the influencer that leads and guides society. Logical, collective leadership, looking towards the future based on tested and established patterns that can be followed with certainty. So knowing
my
that
neck is starting to hurt because I'm yesing everything. Yes. All of that is yes.
So that you have an incredibly powerful chart and design that is just waiting so eagerly, and society is waiting so eagerly for you to really step into this and express this out. And it sounds like you are already naturally starting to do that, which is so fun and exciting to watch.
Yeah. I just want to say thank you to both of you, because of course I spoke out of late 3, maybe 4 weeks ago. I was having a conversation with somebody and I said, you know, I really need to have a conversation with somebody who really, really understands human design. I said, because I don't get it and I know I'm missing something and I need to connect the dots so that I stop draining my own self of my natural energy, so I can show up and do what I'm meant to do, which I'm close, but I'm not there, which is why I've been finding a lot of my business ventures very, very frustrating, even though they're so good for everybody else. They've been incredibly frustrating for me. And that is, and I said out loud, I need to find somebody who's an expert, you know, in human design, who can explain my chart to me, because I don't understand any of this at all. And I don't know what to do with it. And I think for the average person just looking at it, you go, where do you even start? What do all these things mean? What do you even do with this? So really, this is my long-winded way of saying I'm so appreciative of all of this, because what this is for me is divine timing, because I do believe in that. And for me, it is an extremely validating conversation of decisions I have come to and things I've said just in the past 14 days about the direction I am heading in my business and in my life, which is shifting from doing primarily coaching into primarily thought leadership. And that is a scary thing to even say out loud. And at the same time, it's also for me, the correct thing. But this was very, very validating, because this is not about, am I doing right or wrong or whatever. It's, to me, what I'm hearing is, do things that are in alignment with how you are naturally wired. And then things come with ease and flow and more grace and less, for me, frustration, which leaves all this opportunity for abundance of every kind, not just monetary, but every kind, relationships and joy and fulfillment and love and, yes, money and opportunities and all kinds of things to show up. So I'm so appreciative of this conversation today. I really would love a sneak peek at all your notes because there's that part of me that's like, I want to know all the things, all the numbers, all things.
Sneak peek.
Yes. And just thank you so much for giving me the opportunity to learn so much more about myself today. I'm truly grateful.
Yes. This has been so fun. In looking at your chart and being like, oh, I totally see that with her. I totally.
And you know what's great, Kelly, is that we know you. And then once we looked at the chart, we were like, oh my gosh, there's this whole nother layer of Kelly that we haven't even seen yet, but we can see in the chart. And it's just amazing. Amazing.
Oh, it's coming, my friend. It's coming. It's not going to be dormant anymore. I don't need to, I've done enough thinking about it. In other words, now it's time to just do it and be it.
Well, we can't wait to see what you create. And before we let you go, do you want to tell people about who you are and who you help and how to get in touch with you?
Thank you. So I actually, just tiny little bit of background. I was surprisingly a psychotherapist for 20 years. And I made the leap from psychotherapy into personal transformation coaching for women. So I work with women all across the globe so that they can learn how to master their minds. As you said, Natalie, it's such a powerful, beautiful tool. How to master their minds and how to create really unshakable, unstoppable confidence and courage so that you embody the fact that you are the hero of your own story. And so you can go out and create the difference in the world that you were put here to create. So that is the kind of coaching that I do. And I have been speaking for 25 years, but now it's going to be coming from a much more purposeful, intentional, I'm getting on lots of stages place. So I look forward to meeting all of you and seeing all of you in one of those places. And if in the meantime you want to find out more about what I do and how I coach people, you can just visit my website, kellyruta.com.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Kelly, for participating, and everyone, thanks so much for watching. Again, we are doing a limited number of case study interviews, so if you want to be considered, go ahead and pop your name and information below, and we'll see you soon. Much love.
Thank you.
Bye.